This is Steve Holt, and in this video I'm going to be explaining to you how to use Facebook Insights. Facebook Insights are pretty cool because it gives you an in-depth, behind-the-scenes look at who your fans are, how are they reacting to you, what types of posts are you making that aren't working, and what types of things are you doing that are working. So it's pretty cool. The best way to get access to that is to go to your Facebook page, open the administration panel. It'll expand downward. And this section right here called Insights, this gets you access to your insights. You click See All, and that opens up your insights. But before I jump into that, I'm going to show you something real quickly. I'm going to hide this. You may not have noticed this, but right under your name, your page name, there's two pieces of information. One is called Likes. We know what that is. And one's called Talking About This. And this is fairly new. Within the last year, they implemented this. And it's really cool because what it does is Facebook looks at your page, and over the last 7 days, it adds up everything that has happened to you. Every comment, every like, every event RSVP, every post on your wall, every share, everything that has happened with your fans, it adds those up for the last 7 days, and it gives you that number. So tomorrow when you come back to my page, that number may be different, depending on if there's been a whole bunch of activity or if there's been less activity. So this talking about this number changes over time. What your goal is to get that number as high as possible. Because the higher that talking about this number is, that means the more activity there is on your page. The more people are talking about you, the more people are liking and sharing and commenting and so forth. So you want that number as high as possible. In fact, a really good metric, if you want to figure out how am I doing, take that number, that talking about this number, divide it by your likes. So in my case, take 13, divide it by 387. Whatever that percentage is, that gives you a really good gauge instantaneously, how am I doing today? Now, let me give you some ranges, some numbers. Companies in Facebook who are doing a really, really good job of engaging their fans, posting interesting content, doing really good things. Companies that have a lot of people talking about them. What we have discovered, the average percentage, when you take their talking about this, divide it by likes, they are experiencing a percentage. The companies that are doing it right, really good job. A percentage around 3 to 6, 7, 8%. Go to any page in Facebook, do that little math formula, divide it. If they're doing between 3 and 8, that means that they're doing a really good job. If they're doing above that, they are knocking it out of the park. If they're below that, if they're like 1% to 3%, that's average. That's what most pages do. So if you fall between the 1 and 3%, you don't need to get discouraged. You need to be happy because that's the average. That's what most people do. Anything below 1% is pretty pitiful. I have gone weeks before where I've not done a whole lot with my Facebook page. I've not tried to engage fans very much. And my number fell down below 1% a couple times. And so that is a visual indicator to you that, hey, you need to be doing a better job of interacting with your fans and posting interesting content and staying on top of your page. If that number stays really, really low all the time, then you're not really using your Facebook page very well. You're not engaging very well. So that's a really good number, and I'm glad they did that, and they posted it right up front so you know exactly how you're doing, and you can also see how other people are doing. Let's go back to the administration panel. Let's go see all on our insights. Let's go take a look at some of these. This first screen in the insights is really cool. It gives you direct access to the 4 things across the top that you need to be paying attention to. First one is the overview. This is this graph that you see here. It really is just an overview of everything that's going on. You'll notice a lot of question marks all over these screens. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to explain every single one of these numbers by these question marks, because you can mouse over and look at the question mark and it'll explain to you what weekly total reach is, what friends of fans are. Facebook has a habit of changing things all the time. So if I put it in this video, this question mark means this, or this means this, next week they'll change that and then my video will be out of date. So I'm not going to explain each individual little item, but look for these question marks and it'll explain to you exactly what each of these metrics does. But this graph, as you can see in general, something was happening in the second week in February here. I actually went to a couple of places and spoke, and so there was a lot of activity that was a couple of weeks where lots of my fans found out about me and they started interacting with me and talking with me. Then I left the conference, and then as you can see over the next couple of weeks, the activity started to go down because my fans weren't paying attention to me. I wasn't posting as much on the page as I was right after the event. And then it started to go back up again because I went to another event, and I talked to some people, and then I got more activity on my page. So this graph will go up and down, up and down, up and down, depending on how often and how much you interact with your page. And of course, if you mouse over any of these points, it shows you what your numbers are, as far as how many people you're reaching, how much interactivity you're going to have, and so forth. Scroll down the page, and it's got some columns here that are really, really cool. This is a listing of every post that you've done in like the last month, a month and a half. So every post that I've made, everything that I've done on my Facebook wall, it's all listed right here. Every photo, every comment, every link, every video. And so these columns give me some really valuable information. How many people did I reach? How many people actually reacted to what I did? They were engaged with me. How many people are talking about this? They actually did something. Engaged could be they just looked at it or they shared it. Talking about this could mean they made a comment. They made a like or something. And then this last column, these percentages, this shows you, this is really great. These percentages show you for each of these posts, what kind of reaction am I getting? And as you can see, the last month or so, just about every post that I've made has fallen into that 1 to 3%. I've gotten some pretty good reaction out of some of these posts. Here's one that I did back in February 24th. I got a lot of reaction out of this one. There's a couple that are above 3. I've done some posts in the past where I got a lot of engagement. I mean, these percentages on some of my posts in the past were up in the 10 to 15 to 20% range because I talked about something controversial or I talked about something fun or interesting, had a lot of people commenting. So this gives you an idea. So as you can see, some of the things that I've posted, I got hardly any reaction at all. Sometimes one person said something. Sometimes nobody said anything to some of these posts. And so this gives me an idea, what are the things that I'm talking about and posting that aren't getting any reaction? Well, whatever those are, I need to stop doing those because I'm wasting my time because my fans don't care about it and they're not reacting to me. But the stuff that's getting a lot of percentages, what is it that I'm talking about? Am I talking about some of my fans? Am I talking about my personal life? Am I talking about my products? What is it that I'm doing that's working? This is absolutely fantastic. This is going to help you figure out what am I doing that's good and what am I doing that's bad. So pay attention to these columns and these numbers. Let me mention this reach, these numbers right here in this first column. Many people think that if you have, like in my case, right now, 387 fans. Many people think, well, Steve has 387 fans, so every time he posts something, 387 people see it. Well, that's actually not the case. Facebook has admitted that you're going to be lucky to get that the average number of people who are going to see your posts are about 16% of your fans. Facebook decides who sees my posts, not me. Facebook looks at my post and tries to figure out how many people are going to be interested in this. So if I start talking about football in my post, Facebook's going to look at my fans and say, how many of his fans would be interested in football? And those are the only people who are going to see it. So, so I've got double-digit numbers here. Apparently this one, Facebook thought that more people needed to see it. So I got up to 103 people on this post. Some of these posts are really low. On this one, only 35 people. Facebook only showed this to 35 people. And so you're not going to reach all of your fans. It's just not going to happen. And everybody in Facebook is the same. So you're treated just like Disney, who's got 20 million people. They're only going to get about 16% of their fans that actually see their posts. And that's just the way that it is. There's nothing you can do about that. Scroll back up to the top. That's the overview screen. If you click likes at the top, the screen you're going to see is everybody who's liked you. This is great information. This shows you the age and the demographics of the people who've liked you. Where are they from? What language do they speak? Where did they come from? Did people like me using their mobile phone? Did they like me directly on my page? Did they like me from my time? This is great information. Reach. This is how many people am I reaching inside Facebook. This shows you demographics. These are the people who've liked you, but what about the people who I'm actually reaching? If you look at my likes, most of my fans are female. 3/4 of my fans are female. But if you go to reach, a little bit more men are engaging with me. So I'm getting a little bit more engagement out of the men, as on a percentage basis, compared to my likes. That's interesting information to me. So that's really good information to know. And then, of course, the talking about this is it gives you demographic information. Once you get 30 people, once you reach that number 30 in the talking about this, you'll start seeing demographic data as well right here. So these are your insights. Overview, likes, reach, and talking about this. Make sure that you read my book and the chapter that talks about the insights where it goes into granular detail about what each of those particular little items mean. Make sure you mouse over the little question marks to show you exactly what each of the items mean that are on the screen. And then if you want, you can export the data right here down to an Excel document, and you can massage the data if that's the type of thing that you want to do. So there are your insights on your Facebook page.